More COVID compensation is on the way for small businesses in New South Wales. The state government is offering grants of up to $20,000 for businesses which have lost stock. Tradies will also be able to get some of their tolls refunded. And late today, the Premier hinted the fast pace of vaccination could mean that the 80% freedoms are brought forward to Monday. Here's state political reporter Ashley Raper.
Much has changed for Dominic Perrottet.
He's not the Premier, he's the dominator, Mr Speaker.
His debut as Premier on the floor of Parliament was tempered by COVID restrictions.
Well, it's like playing footy without a crowd.
But there was still an opposition to combat.
On a personal level, at least, I wish you good luck.
A day on from the state emerging from lockdown.
How was yesterday?
Oh, it was really exciting. I mean, the weather wasn't great, let's be honest.
Dominic Perrottet has attempted to reassure businesses.
Over the summer month, it's going to be boom time in New South Wales for every single business.
For David Bregg, a booming business seems a way off.
It's not going to be just open up today and we'll recover quickly. This is going to be a big one to get over. And if we face any more of this, well, I think it's the government's duty to help us out.
The government has promised to compensate businesses up to $20,000 for lost stock if there's a lockdown over summer.
I've made it very, very clear that is a last resort, not a first resort. But this will give confidence to businesses to purchase stock.
A $2,000 rebate scheme is also being extended to allow small businesses and tradespeople claim their tolls.
Every little thing counts, and it is a good contribution, obviously being that we're on the road quite a bit.
The rebate will last for 8 months.
And at the end of the day, this will run out at June. These tolls will be in place forever.
COVID cases have declined to 360 today, but the death toll continues to climb with 5 more lives lost. As Dominic Perrottet continues to establish himself as the Freedom Premier, he's faced with the prospect of easing more restrictions on Monday if the 80% vaccination target is reached in time. But if that happens, he's hinted he may delay regional travel for Sydney-siders again because vaccination rates aren't high enough in some areas. Ashley Raper, ABC News, Sydney.
The shelves are stocked, the tables are set, and customers can't wait to spend their money. There's just one problem for the boss. Despite the end of lockdown, not everyone's ready to get back to work. Business groups say that a shortage of staff could hamper the state's recovery.
It's Vivi Zhen's first day back on the tools, and she hasn't missed a beat.
You go, girls.
But making sit-down meals and coffee in ceramic cups is the easy bit when it comes to getting staff back on the books.
It's beginning to be a bit of a price war. People are paying more for staff.
Jake Farragher's cafe in Penrith needs more workers, but with borders shut and the government offering disaster payments to residents, they're not rushing back.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. But I just think from the employee perspective, I think we need to get people back into their jobs and back working again, because my concern is that we build a bit of a lazy workforce.
He's preparing to open new businesses too, but candidates are in short supply.
The rate of inquiry compared to like pre-COVID, we're about 10% compared to what it was before.
It's a struggle for traders across Sydney. John Chammis was so short-staffed, he had to choose between reopening his 2 restaurants.
Unfortunately, we could only open one, so most of the staff from Baulkham Hills and most of the staff from Parramatta and literally married him into one.
He agrees some workers are choosing to stay home so they can still reapply for government support.
Now that we've reopened, I think there should have been some changes. Some of these staff members, not only my restaurant and many other restaurants, there was only 2 or 3 restaurants open in Church Street last night.
John Chammis has been forced to advertise for new staff. He plans to get enough to reopen his restaurant here in Baulkham Hills next week. But the other challenge is ensuring they're all fully vaccinated.
Some of the staff that didn't come to work as well were only single jab, so they were waiting for their second jab, which is due this week or next week, and that sort of delayed things.
And after 15 weeks in lockdown, he can't wait any longer to get back to business. Cameron Gock, ABC News, Sydney.
Another worry for small businesses is having to deal with angry, unvaccinated customers who can't be served. And just 2 days into freedom, tensions are already starting to spill over. Here's crime reporter Mark Reddy.
A government rule policed by cafes, and behind the camera is a man expressing his outrage.
Excuse me, what makes you think that I'm going to hand over my medical private information of whether I'm vaccinated or not vaccinated to buy a cup of coffee?
The tirade lasted a few minutes and ended with a threat. This barista was left shaken.
Really sad. The customers stay really upset. This is no fair. It's hard, you know.
After hearing about the abuse, sympathetic locals upped their orders.
To take it out on a local business, I think, is appalling.
They're a local family, and so it's really devastating to hear that they've been targeted so badly like this by an anti-vaxxer. I'm really disappointed to hear that.
Businesses risk hefty fines if they fail to check the vaccination status of customers. But doing the right thing in this case also came with a risk.
It's not fair for us to do that, and if the government want to police, they should come here and police that. Because I'm not going to have a fight with somebody here to let him in or not in the promises.
Some of the major retailers have been able to afford security to police the vaccination status of their customers. But the ABC's been told of one shop which ended up letting in an unvaccinated customer after their guard was repeatedly verbally abused. This beauty salon owner has handled tense confrontations herself and lost customers too.
I have had clients get upset that I am unable to take them in, and they walk out unhappy.
Do you have anything to say today?
Incidents like these are few, but given the state only reopened 2 days ago, police are expecting a rise in abuse. Mark Reddy, ABC News, Sydney.
In the ACT, lockdown will end this Thursday night. Some restrictions will still be in place, including gathering limits and rules around how many people are allowed inside venues. Residents from more New South Wales towns are also allowed to enter the territory for essential reasons. The ACT is on track to achieve 99% double vaccination by the end of November. If you're someone who'd like to attend a religious service in Sydney at the moment, it very much depends on what faith you are and whether you're vaccinated. Many mosques and temples have reopened their doors, but only to those who are double jabbed. Catholic and Anglican churches, though, are still closed because they're worried about a backlash from the unvaccinated.
After months sitting silent, the familiar sound of a call to prayer echoes through the mosque. The faithful feeling blessed to be with their congregation once again.
As soon as you step in, our emotion levels goes high, and then you get a feeling of missing this mass for so long.
Worshippers here in Auburn endured some of the harshest restrictions during lockdown. Now relieved, they're no longer constrained by COVID to practice their faith.
We obviously got hit hard here in Western Sydney. Staying at home, praying at home, it just never felt the same.
Fully vaccinated, socially distanced and masked up, this Sikh community is also grateful to be back at their temple.
It's a good relief when we are coming here.
But not all places of worship have opened their doors. Some religious leaders are afraid of the backlash of having to turn away unvaccinated people. So they're waiting until the second stage of the recovery plan when they can reopen to everyone. Catholic and Anglican churches across Sydney remain closed. Most services won't resume until the state reaches 80% full vaccination.
No priest, or indeed no member of the congregation, would want to have the onerous duty of being a sort of a health police person.
Sydney's largest mosque is also holding back until next week.
We never have this experience before, to make people, when they come to the mosque and find the mosque not open for them and others, they will enter.
So for now, these doors will remain locked for a little longer. Lydia Feng, ABC News, Sydney.